If you've been on or around the internet lately, and let's be honest, if you're watching this video, you fall into this category, you might have noticed something about the content that people are consuming. There's a relatively new category of stuff that is both eye-catching and attention-retaining, and it's super easy to make and upload. Some people are calling it digital sludge, some people are going with the more descriptive South Park clips with crappy mobile game footage and maybe some sensory videos added below. Whatever you call it, it's taking over the short-form content sphere and changing how people watch long-running TV shows. So how does South Park factor in exactly? Well, let's get into that. To get a fulsome view of this topic, let's take it back, way back. Before TikTok was even a glimmer in the eye of whatever tech whiz came up with Musical.ly or Emmy or whatever. Let's go back to 1997 when Matt Stone and Trey Parker were still working with construction paper, back to the advent of South Park. After it premiered with the episode Cartman Gets an Anal Probe, it blew up. People were going crazy for South Park. The first episode did big numbers and received high ratings. Soon enough, people were getting together for South Park watch parties on college campuses, and Comedy Central, the network airing the show, was booming. Ratings rose throughout the first seasons and even set records at the time for most non-sporting event viewers. People couldn't get enough of South Park. This is exactly what the folks behind the scenes were looking for at the time: ratings on cable television. Higher ratings meant they could sell more ads and get more eyes on said advertisements. This made them more money, made the show more notorious, and made the people working on South Park look like geniuses. At the beginning of the show's run, the most expensive Comedy Central ad you could buy was like $7,500, but by the end of the year, ad prices had jumped to an average of $40K, and some were even commanding up to $80. That's big money. The controversy and timeliness of South Park plotlines have been a topic of discussion throughout the years as well. Nobody was quicker at picking up the pulse of what was going on in American life than the South Park team, and they always made sure to poke fun at anything that would cause people to raise their eyebrows and clutch their pearls. Politicians, religious figures, community leaders, concerned parents, and more all found reasons to speak out against South Park, but South Park kept on coming. Vulgarity was a hot topic, which South Park approached with the delicacy of a bulldozer. Religion was a popular target too, with South Park making a mockery of Scientology, Mormonism, Christianity, Islam, and more. Celebrities were taken down regularly, and often they got upset about it. And of course, parents wanted to protect their children from the foul-mouthed and violent antics of the citizens of South Park. That last one more or less relies on parents not letting their kids watch the show. Before the advent of personal electronics like smartphones and laptops, this may have been an easier task. These days, hard to stop anybody from watching anything. Over the years, the show's ratings and the dollar signs associated with them have fluctuated significantly. Of course, the way that people watch television also changed. South Park has been around long enough that we've seen episodes premiere on cable, sold by the season on DVDs, clipped and posted to early YouTube, and brought onto streaming platforms. Now they're chopped and stapled to other footage on short-form content apps. These new methods of viewership have obviously impacted the traditional cable-only ratings of the show, with a lot of people preferring to consume the show using whatever they see as the most convenient method. And now, for a whole lot of people, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and whatever's going on over at Twitter are the most convenient places to watch all of this. What makes it even easier is that they come pre-packaged with even more visual stimulus to keep folks on that specific video for a longer period of time. We've seen it happen to pretty much every popular and long-running adult animated comedy, from Family Guy to Rick and Morty to The Simpsons. My theory is that their largely episodic nature and their high volume of jokes make it real easy to hop in wherever. Really, that's what helped the shows get so popular in the first place. Low barrier of entry, iconic set of characters, wide variety of scenarios, and boom, you can sit down and watch an episode without any additional context. But now you don't even need to sit down and choose to watch clips from the show. If you're scrolling through TikTok, one might just show up whether or not you've shown interest in it, and it'll play, along with whatever ASMR sensory soap-cutting mobile game Subway Surfers Kinetic Sand stuff that it's attached to. Suddenly, the viewer's brain is taking in like 3 different things and they might not even know it. They're watching an out-of-context South Park clip where Cartman's trying to avoid a fight, while somebody plays a mobile game badly enough that they want to hop in and correct their technique, while somebody else carves soap oh so satisfyingly. At any point, the viewer might get bored of one of these things, but instead of moving on to the next video, they can just move their eyeline an inch or two and be rewarded with something new. You're also hearing the show the whole time that this is happening. This means higher retention, more and longer views on the video, and an algorithm that sees this as a success. So more clips get produced, and more people are introduced to whatever show is playing in the top half of their screen. Which brings us back to South Park. We discussed ratings earlier and how over the years they fluctuated. In the end, traditional cable cable had a hard time keeping up with streaming and short-form apps. Season 25 of South Park, which aired in 2022, had some of the series' lowest ratings of all time. Now, these low ratings can be credited to a whole bunch of different things. The show had moved away from that episodic structure that made it so popular and also so easy to watch. Extended storylines and plots that spanned multiple episodes had become the hallmark of the later seasons. While this allowed for some interesting tales to be told, it also threw some viewers off and limited what could happen in each episode. There's also the whole HBO Paramount thing going on right now, where a bunch of South Park feature films are being made and the rights to South Park are being hotly contested. I don't speak legalese, nor do I claim to understand copyright law, so you do your own research there. Needless to say, the pandemic did a number on South Park's production and their numbers. But the new interest in the show that was seemingly sparked by TikToks has been a welcome change. Even though most of the clips on TikTok are overwhelmingly distracting with their content, some people decided to give the show a try, even independent of these apps. If you take a look at interest in South Park over the last few years, you can see that early 2023 saw a huge increase. Even when it inevitably dropped off its first high, it still stayed significantly higher than before. This can definitely be attributed to the popularity of clips on TikTok, but that isn't just it. The South Park team was definitely smart in how they approached their latest season. They knew that TikTok was big for them and made episodes specifically about the platform, warts and all. They made a TikTok account and posted clips from the show that were more or less built for the app. They even returned to their episodic plot structure that made them a huge success in the first place. And of course, controversy reigns supreme. Celebrity takedowns of Kanye and the royal couple, Harry and Meghan, brought all sorts of eyes to the show, and had some celebrities in question publicly comment on South Park. That's definitely a good sign that South Park is back to doing what it does best. The online South Park community is growing too. The famously simple art style is easy for anyone to emulate, with them creating their own characters or drawing Stan, Kyle, Kenny, and Cartman in their own art style. Having a solid base of fans connecting with your show can definitely keep it in the public eye longer. The only question now is, will they be able to maintain this? As the demand for instant content continues to grow, will the South Park team be able to keep up? Will the demand for the show continue to rise, or will all the existing episodes get munched up into sludge and then forgotten? Trends move faster than ever, and even shows that have been memed for decades can fall off at a moment's notice. Will content creators move on once the next big thing bursts onto the scene? Parker and Stone will definitely continue to lampoon whatever the topic of the day is in any way they can, as they've proven that they're capable of doing so since the 90s. There is no slowing them down. All that's left to do is wait and see, I suppose. That and hop on TikTok and wait for some South Park clips to show up in your feed. Do you think TikTok saved South Park? Would the show be as popular right now if not for the algorithm favoring the so-called digital sludge? Let us know what you think down in the comments and subscribe to Channel Frederator for more like this. Thanks for watching.